Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you a bit of a mammoth project, I'm afraid. I saw a few ideas on Pinterest and decided that I was going to have a go. Little did I anticipate that it would take me most of the day just to make one. But trust me, it is worth it. And I think it's super cute. I'm calling it my just simply Advent Calendar Drawers. And when I spin it round, you can see those are my Advent Calendar drawers. So each individual drawer comes out. It has its own little drawer and wrap. This one has two little dime bars inside. I got these from IKEA, a great big bag, so you could fill up quite a few of these drawers with them. Obviously, if you want alternate things to put in, you could go with some little are these Hershey's? Yeah, little Hershey's chocolate bars. Again, I got these off Amazon, a little bag full. Notice my schoolboy error. I put all the numbers on the wrong way round, so all bar number 1, all of my drawers are upside down. So I was rather frustrated when I did all of that. Number 1 actually has one of the little Ritter Sports boxes, bars inside. So 3 simple things there to show you. Obviously, I'm sure you could fit many other little things in there. I've made mine with Poppy Parade and Lemon Lime Twist. Now, I have only used a little bit of tear and tape to hold these together, so if you sort of aren't careful, they do gape a little, but obviously once they're stacked they are fine. I've decorated the top, try and hold it there, just simply use some DSP, so Poppy Parade and Lemon Lime, so the bright, and this is 2017-2019 in colour DSP, and I've literally just made inch square boxes that I've then just, actually this is real red ribbon and this is the Lemon Lime ombre ribbon, and then the mixed satin ribbon I've just draped across the top. Now obviously you can decorate these however you like. I unfortunately have, to be totally honest with you, run out of time. I'm chasing my tail this week, which is not fun, and yeah, and I wait until I've got a massive project like this and then I decide to do it the week I'm so busy. But hey, that's what happened, that's life. So yeah, so I've obviously done all the way up to 25, so I have included Christmas Day. Today is what I'm going to class as part 1, so I'm going to show you how to make these holders, and then next week I will show you how to make the individual drawers. So yeah, so this is my Advent Calendar Drawers Tower, whatever you want to call it, and as I say, I'm going to show you how to make it. There are quite a few measurements, so please bear with, but they will all be on my blog. That's rather disgusting, so let's get rid of that. And I'm afraid again, because I'm busy, I've not had chance to work these measurements out in centimetres. I'm so sorry. I hopefully will have them on my blog soon if I can get 5 minutes or more to work it out and put them on my blog. But unfortunately at the moment my measurements are only in inches. So I've obviously pre-cut my card, and this time I'm going with Tranquil Tide and Merry Mallow, and I have 5 tiers on my advent calendar, so I've labelled them up. So for tiers 1 and 2 you only need 2 pieces of cardstock. I will go through the measurements in a moment, but for 3, 4 and 5 you need 4 pieces because you just can't get the cardstock the size that I needed. So I thought, well, I'll have to cut it in half and work it that way. So 1 and 2 require 2 pieces, 3, 4 and 5 are 4 pieces. So we'll start at the very beginning, start at the top, move all of these out of the way, and we'll start with number 1. So as I said, Tranquil Tide. Majority of this I will do with my trimmer because it's easier, and I find it easier when I'm working with 1/16 of an inch and stuff like that. Obviously this also will be ideal for any of you guys that work in centimetres. Obviously this does have inches on, so even if I don't do the centimetres, you do have inches on the trimmer. Apologies if you have paper cutting devices that aren't Stampin' Up and that don't have both, but as I say, I work in inches and that's just how I've started it. So for your first piece then, you need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 7.5 by 3 1/8. Now all of the excuse me, all of the cardstock will be 3 1/8, so it is just the width here that will change, and we are simply going to score at 5/8 of an inch. Move my cutting blade out of the way, on the long side and on the 2 short sides. So 5/8 of an inch on both pieces, long and both short, so technically 3 sides. And this is the same measurement that you will use on every single one, so 5/8 of an inch. Okay, I'm going to leave them to one side now, and I'm going to score my other pieces. So number 2, I'm going to do this one as well because there's just 2 pieces and it makes it easier. So again, 5/8 of an inch on the long side, and then again on both short sides, 5/8 of an inch. And if you're not sure which measurement that is, if you go to in between, if you look at your, let me zoom in very quickly and show you, because I don't want you to, it took me a while to understand. There we have. So you've got all these little notches in between your 1 inch and your 2 inch at the top here. So if you look at this thicker line here, this is your 1/2 inch, and then this one here is your 1/4 inch. The lines, the shortest line are 1/16 of an inch, and the middle ones are 1/8 of an inch. So when I'm doing 5/8, I do it this side because it's easier, but 5/8 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to me it's the 1/8 mark after the 1/2 inch. I know that sounds a bit ridiculous, but as you can see here, so this is going to be my 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to that one there. So that's my 5/8 of an inch, and that's where I score. Let's bring you back out again. So I've done the long side, although that doesn't look very straight to me. So let's try that one again. No, I don't think it was. And then again on the two side ones. Okay, so that's those. Let's just put that out of the way for a moment. Bring in my bone folder, and obviously we're going to fold and burnish the 3 lines there. And let's do it on all of the pieces. Now, I did think that I would prep some of the others so that I only did, for example, this one, I would have pre-made that one. And then I decided that maybe it would be better if you guys actually saw me make all of them up. Just because, again, I am repeating what I'm doing, which, again, hopefully makes it a little easier for you guys. So, number 1, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away this corner, or both corners, should I say. And this will serve as my top piece, and it will become clear in a moment. So get rid of those. This one I'm going to cut into tabs, but do your tabs so that they come away from the sides. So do them this way. Again, if you've seen any of my previous video actually for the gift card, Christmas card gift set, when I was making the pockets, you saw that I tucked this in between two, tucked it in between 2 to stop this catching, and that's exactly the same reason for this. I took it in this way, and then when you slide your chocolate boxes, your drawers in, it's not going to catch on the tab because they're across the bottom. Okay, so I've cut that one. I'm going to cut this one as well, and then I can do the tear and tape all the same. So one of them, doesn't matter which one, because as I said, they are both cut and measured the same. So I'm going to cut that away there, and then I'll do wedges on this one. And again, this is the same principle that I'm going to use on all of them. So just cut in those wedges. Okay. So I'm now going to bring in some lovely tear and tape. So my pieces with the wedges, just going to go here for a moment. My tops, flip them over so that your sides are coming upwards, and you're going to run tear and tape or whatever adhesive you wish to use across the back. That's not my tear and tape scissors. Across the long piece of the back and down both of these side pieces. And I did find, making up those drawers as well, that this actually is the longest part using the tear and tape. Can you believe? Cutting and scoring seems to take no time, but adding tear and tape feels like it takes forever. I have no clue why. Okay, so that's that bit done. And just, oops, the last bit on there. Again, you'll notice that I'm not particularly going near an edge or going down the middle. It's just going wherever it goes because it doesn't matter. So on these, you simply need to add a little bit on your tabs. So I'm just cutting a very small amount. You can use wet glue if you're happy to leave them to sit. If, like me, you want to do it in stages, you can use the wet glue, leave them to dry and maybe come back to them the next day or later or whatever. Just put the last little bit on there. And then we're simply going to make these up into what I would class as half boxes. Look at what I've got. Take your pick tool. Isn't this beautiful? There are so many pieces to this. It's on page 30 of the Autumn Winter catalogue. I'm just going to grab my other part. So this end is fabulous. This is a putty end that's very slightly tacky, and you can use it to pick up your gems or any little bits of paper, etc. This end, so this end has my piercing tool. You twist and unlock, and there's like a little palette knife, and you can switch it up and also use it for your scoring tool. Isn't it amazing? And it just simply sits in. There's a little picture of the lock there, so you can lock and unlock, and then it has a safety cap. Isn't it beautiful? It does feel, I suppose, a little bulky if you're used to your paper piercers, because obviously there is a size difference, and you have the putty end, which is quite heavy. Depends which you're used to. I am getting used to using this now, so it's not too much of a problem. Where did that go? There. Okay, so the good thing is as well is when you put this down, you're not going to lose it. You know, it's pretty big. I'm always putting my piercing tool down and then I just can't find it anywhere. So at least now I won't lose that. So you've basically got an open-sided tray, I suppose. So we'll do exactly the same for this one. Just take that backing off. Okay, and again the same principle for all of our layers. So there's my two bases, and again now for the top, I advise you do this one at a time. So example, I'm going to take that layer off. I'm trying to keep all my rubbish together here. So I've taken this one off, and this is going to sit this way because it's going to be an open lid, if you like. So what I do is I pop this end onto my desk, I pop that inside, I then tuck this piece into the side here, and then I simply put the top on, and it should line up. Shush girls. And then I do exactly the same this end, and I hope this dog doesn't decide to jump out of my window. So I do exactly the same this side, make sure everything's tucked in, everything's straight, just give that an extra press. And then the last one is this back piece. Bailey, can you lie down please, because you're shading the window. And then you just simply pop that on, and then I just stick my fingers in the bottom just to make sure that's stuck. And that's my first layer. You do have here the joins, and I have that as my bottom piece. So obviously this is the top, so we'll put that to one side. Do exactly the same with this one. So this is layer 2. So again, bottom down, tuck it in. This is just to make sure that this piece goes on straight, and then we do exactly the same with this one. Take our backing off, make sure that your sides are all lined up, and then take the backing off this one, and hey presto, you have your two done. So there's 1 and 2, and you can see how this begins. Now if you wanted to, you could stick at doing this and have another layer 1, layer 2, layer 1, layer 2, and you could do it however you liked really. Obviously I've just gone for the sort of tree stepping system. So that's 1 and 2. Just get rid of this rubbish. I am a tidy freak. So number 3 is slightly different. So with this one, the first thing we're going to do is score 5/8 of an inch on all of the, on one end only, one short end. So just on the short side there, 5/8 of an inch. And I didn't tell you, did I? Sorry, too many measurements, too much confusion. So this one, the top tier, is cardstock 7.5 by 3 1/8, 2 of. Tier 2 is 2 pieces of 9 5/8 by 3 1/8. The third one, which is the one that you need 4 pieces for, is 6 1/8, 6 1/8 by 3 1/8. And again, we're scoring just one end at the moment at 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so we've got our score lines on the 4. Pick 2 and run some tear and tape along the edge. Now this one I do put close to the edge, and again this is how the other 2, so 4 and 5, will be made up as well. So tear and tape right on those edges, just on 2 of them, doesn't matter which 2. Okay, so there's my tear and tape. So I'm going to take one piece of tear and tape off. Now I want this score line to be at 10 3/8, which I'm actually going to use my grid paper for. So there's 10 3/8. I'm going to make sure that this bottom line is in line with my grid paper. Take one that doesn't have tear and tape, and this score line needs to be on the starting line, if you like, at 0. And again, make sure that bottom part is flat against the line, and that will give you your large piece, and you've obviously then got your score lines at either end. So we'll do that again. So I'm going to take this piece off. 10 3/8, so 1 2 3, line it up, don't get stuck to the tear and tape, score line on the 0 on the start line, ensure it's all lined up, press it down. So you now have 2 longer pieces. So back to our 2 pieces now. We then need to score down the side, and your scoring trimmer will work for this. So 5/8 of an inch. Now because we have this seam here, I'm actually going to score from top to bottom twice, just because I prefer to do my score lines twice. And I also find that if you go from top to bottom, you're not likely to go back over this edge and catch it. Okay, back in now, exactly the same thing. So just very carefully fold this where your join is. Score it, sorry, burnish it both ends. And again with this one, burnish those two corner sides, seriously, those two sides, and again this nice long piece. Exactly the same principle as I said before. So pick one that you're going to have for your lid, cut the two corners, so we're just cutting those two corners out there, and this one is going to be our tabs. So again, we're just cutting. My dog's heavy breathing. I do hope she doesn't start snoring. Back in with the tear and tape. So remember, the one that you've cut those corners out of is simply where you put your tear and tape on the inside. And again on both the short sides. That one very nearly went skewy. And then on this one. And then again just two little bits on these tabs. And like I said, same principle on all of them. And sadly I don't know how to fast forward, so I can't speed up these bits to stop you getting bored. So I'll just rattle on about random stuff. So, taking the adhesive off our tabs. Obviously it makes sense to do this first because you can't adhere the lid until you've done this part. So that's that bit made up. And this is where they will gape slightly, obviously because of the length of the card. And then we just go back, taking the... But yes, I had a moment. No, wait, that way. Don't want to be putting that adhesive on that way. So the bottom tucked in. And this will also tell you if your measurements are off as well, because if you've got one longer than the other, something's not right somewhere. Trust me, I have learnt that one. So that's that bit. Oh, for goodness sake. Take that off there. Make up this one. And then the last one. Now as these are getting longer, these are going to gape even more, so I tend to hold the centre in just ever so slightly, just whilst I'm taking the backing off, and then I just tuck them in and then press down on the inside, checking where your join is, and that is my third one. So I now have my third layer. So the fourth one, we have again 4 pieces, exactly the same thing. So 5/8 of an inch, score the short side, one short side on all of them. And these ones for the fourth layer measure 7 1/8 by 3 1/8. Again, 2 pieces. Let's put some tear and tape on this ends. Obviously the opposite end to your score line. And again on this one. And then we do exactly the same thing with this one, and this time we are measuring it at 12.5 inches. So 12.5. Line that bottom piece up, one without tear and tape, score to the left on the 0, make sure the bottom bit is straight. Again, this will also tell if you've cut correctly, because if you've got one that overlaps, you'll know that you've cut wrong. Again, trust me, I know. I'm telling you all of these because I've learnt the hard way, because I just clearly messed them all up when I did it. 12.5. You should have seen my bin yesterday after I'd been doing this. There were just so many scrap bits of card where I'd measured incorrectly or something hadn't gone right. Thankfully I do have, I actually used some of the retired cardstock that I didn't get rid of. I saved some of that and use it to get rid of. So now we need to do our scoring, and this time I will be using my scoring board simply because this won't fit in the trimmer. So I can't get it in the trimmer now to do the scoring, so I have to do it on here. But the good news is that you can still get 5/8 of an inch on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I score down as far as I can go, which leaves me short of that bit. Simply rotate it, and I know from doing these that 2.5 inches is the same line, which I've just added there. So I'm going to do exactly the same here. 5/8 along one side. Again, it doesn't really matter because they're both the same, and then continue that line. So it's just one full line all the way from the top to the bottom. And then you've guessed it, we're going to do exactly the same again. We're just going to fold and burnish these, add our tear and tape, etc, etc. Okay, how are we doing? 26 minutes, not bad. Thankfully the drawers are a lot simpler, and trust me, I will not be showing you how to make 25 of them. I will do one, so that shouldn't take as long. Right, fold and burnish. This is my top, cut away the corners. Cut away the corners and then cut tabs on this one. I love this colour. It's a real Christmas colour, and obviously, as I keep mentioning, my card kits, it is the colour that's predominant in my card kits as well. I just love it, I really do. So, back in with tear and tape, or whichever you... Do you not think if we'd have still had fast fuse, it would have made this so much quicker? And it would have been perfect for this as well, just running it along the side there. But hey presto, we don't have it anymore, so we'll just go with the tear and tape, which I actually don't mind using, and I am getting a little bit quicker at using it now, I guess. So just a little bit on those tabs. And again, taking these pieces off here. Just make this bit up. And then again, exactly the same, taking the tear and tape off. And then just sitting, getting close to the camera now, sitting that in and just lining that up, pressing on it just to ensure. Take another one off here, and this is why I said do them one at a time, because if you took all of this backing off, you seriously would end up getting in a sticky mess, and it's not worth it. It doesn't make it any quicker, so I just found it easier to do one at a time. And I'm trying to rush now because you know how we do them. And then just press it down on the desk. And there's number 4. And the last one, number 5. Again, to grab my trimmer. So these are 8 1/8 by 3 1/8. And we're doing 5/8 again on the 4 sides. Whoops. It's because I'm rushing. Trying not to rush, trying to do it smoothly, but obviously I want to be quick for you guys. So let's move that out of the way, and you will have guessed we're going to put some tear and tape along the sides here. Okay, so 2 pieces of my filming only lasts for half an hour. I obviously did too much. So yeah, back as we were. So tear and tape on the 2 sides. I'm going to take one side off, and this time it's at 4 5/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my score line's going to go there. Spin round, score line to the left on the 0. Line it up, match it up. Again, the same with this one. Backing off, 4 5/8, line it up, score on this one to the left, line it up with the 0, get it on a straight line here and join them up. And then last but not least, we do the scoring on here. So again, 5/8 as far as you can go, flip it round and continue the score line there. And it's, as I said, from practice, it's 2.5 inches on the opposite side just to finish that score line. And then again, exactly the same. I'm going to fold and burnish these ones and make it up exactly the same. And again, as you can see now that we don't have cardstock big enough to do this, which is why I've joined them together, but you can't tell once they're all in their tower. So just cut those corners off there, and then just cut tabs on this one, and then we just need to add our tear and tape. I told you it was a bit of a mammoth one, but thankfully we survived. We got there. I got there. You've perhaps all fallen asleep, but we've done it. And like I said, the drawers are a little easier to make. They are a little bit more time consuming because you have to do 25, but you have to do 25 drawers and then 25 of the outer bits. But I'm sure whoever you make it for will appreciate it. And you know, I actually had an idea as I was making mine that because my children are grown up, they're not, well, I say grown up, they're not little kiddies anymore. I can't imagine they'll be overly bothered with an advent calendar. And so I thought, actually, you know, I could fill these with treats for my dogs and do my dogs' advent calendars. I think they would love them. The trouble is they'd get used to it and then they'd be expecting them every morning for the rest of the year. Mind you, they do get plenty anyway. Okay, so that's that one. And then the last bit, I have to get this right. Oh, I can never get my brain in gear to do this bit. And this may well be right up close to the camera. Yes, I thought it might be. So I'll just line that up there. Do the opposite end. It's a ridiculously long box, this bit is. Do exactly the same here. And then this last piece, take your time with this one because, like I said, it is so long. The box does gape. So I would suggest starting at one end and kind of work your way along. And then fold it over and press to get the bottom done. So that's my base. And the rest I will show you with the boxes because I don't put them together until the boxes are in because it makes it a lot easier. But that is the start of your Advent calendar drawer tower. Sorry it's took so long. Hope you find it fairly easy enough to follow. All the measurements are on my blog and I will try and explain as much as possible. Please join me again on Tuesday when I will show you the beautiful little drawers that go inside. And dependent on how long the video takes, I might just show you how I made these little cute boxes as well. But thank you for joining me and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye!